Hey Gamax here. So I want to go through the best settings for MLB The Show 20. Now, some of this will change depending on, your personal likes and dislikes of things, but I'm going to kind of go over that and then kind of basically guide you through how you want to do it. So, it's over here in the options menus. My sliders will be for if you're trying to practice on legend mode and you want to make the fastballs even faster, you'll go to the sliders, but we're going to kind of ignore the sliders, I guess, in this video, as this is kind of all if you want to make the CPU harder or more or less difficult and better at certain things. So against the computer only, online play, this won't matter at all because SDS sets these sliders for us. But user settings will matter for online play versus offline play. So let's go through it. Gameplay options is the big thing. So hitting difficulty, again, for offline play, it'll be depending on who and how much experience you have. From if you go beginner, I like to go legend if I'm playing offline to make it, I feel like it makes myself better. But hitting view is very highly subjective too, and this is something that, again, I'm on strike zone 2 to start the year, but I'm gonna experiment with a lot of other strike zone and different looks as the year, because strike zone soon, it feels a little different than last year, but it probably isn't. It might be in my head right now, but I think experiment with a whole bunch of different hitting views is important. But moving on. In-play view offense, I like dynamic. Again, this is just all visual, nothing crazy. I like the daytime only. I think this gives kind of a decent one. But if you want more of a zoomed out stuff, you can go high or something. But I like the dynamic mode. So ball trail, daytime only, so you can follow it. It feels easier to follow in the nighttime. Hitting interface, I do zone type hitting, but you'll see a lot of people use directional. Pure analog, you really don't see very much, but zone is basically the standard for the game. You'll see probably 80% of the people use this. Input type buttons, definitely go buttons over analog, because analog you gotta flick it, and I just think it's a little complicated. Some people can make it work, but I don't love it. Buttons for zone input. Analog type is disabled if you're on zone buttons type of whatnot. Plate coverage indicator, aka the PCI, is what you see. You know that big old thing when you're batting? It shows kind of what you're kind of moving around. Now, again, something highly subjective. I left it on default to try and get used to it. Some people prefer different colors here. There's a whole lot of different ones, and I'll probably play around with this myself. PCI transparency. This doesn't really have too much effect other than kind of visual stuff, so go with your heart on this and mess around. Advanced guess pitch is actually on this year in Diamond Dynasty. I hate it. I'm guessing that is going to be changed, but you can put guess pitch on. Dumb. Hopefully they change that soon in some sort of patch, but basically I haven't really used guess pitch because it hasn't been on for the game in a long time, but guess pitch, quadrant, PCI, classic, no feedback. Classic's fine, then you kind of hit R2 when you're at bat and then guess your pitch, and then you get a bonus if the pitch is there. So it kind of helps you guess which pitch is coming because it confirms or denies whether you guess the right pitch. So base running decisions, I prefer assist, but that's because online play, it's automatically set there. So I just leave it at assist because that's what I'll be playing online too. Base running interface, default is good. I think it's the best. Get used to it. Sliding decisions, assist. Basically, you press up to go in head first, right or left to slide at different sides of the bases. Basically, slide away from the throw. You'll have a better chance at being safe. Run all windows, you definitely want on. All right, moving on to pitching. Pitching difficulty, I put it at Legend 2 because, hardest makes me better, but you can switch it down to All-Star or Hall of Fame and have a little fun that way. A little easier. Pitching interface, pure analog is what you'll see a majority of the people. This is probably closer to, 50-50 between pure analog. You see some people in Classic where all you have to do is press the button and it just goes. Meter, where it goes, and then you kind of click it a couple times. But I like pure analog where you're using the right thumbstick. It feels like you have the most control over it. Unless you're pitching with Nolan Ryan, then he'll just go where the hell he wants. Pitch feedback on, yes. Pitching view, again, this is something some people like to be behind the pitcher, broadcast to kind of feel more like an MLB game, so that way you're throwing at the catcher from the pitcher's point of view. But I prefer, I like preferring behind the plate. I like retro because I can see the batter, and I just like it because it allows me to see the ball again. I feel like it keeps my batter's eye sharp to go with behind the plate pitching view, so that way I can keep continually seeing balls coming in and breaking and stuff. So I get double practice for watching balls break. Pitching ball marker, pitch trail on. I don't like the fade stuff because it goes away. So I like pitch trail on or classic on. Basically allows you to see what you're pitching all the way up until you hit the button to throw the ball. So classic, so it's between pitch trail on and classic. I use pitch trail on. I like it better. Anyways, pitch confidence doesn't matter. It's online. It's gonna be on. I just leave it on. Pitch delay faster to kind of get through games quicker. So definitely want to be on faster versus normal. There. API says it has your catcher, the adaptive pitching. This is off online for against the computer. Your catcher will like show you what kind of pitch and where you should pitch it. That's what the API is. So I have it off because I don't want to hear from nobody. Right? I'm stuck in my own ways. I want to throw whatever fucking pitch I want. I don't want to hear from a catcher. Dumbass computer. All right. So throwing interface, button accuracy, and fielding. Definitely want to go button accuracy over anything else. There is pure analog buttons, but definitely go button accuracy. Road to the Show throwing interface. I think Showtime's kind of cool. I'm not going to be doing Road to the Show this year, but I think most people will have the Showtime on. Throwing meter on, so that way you can see how close you are. Definitely. Fielding decision. I like the assist, so that way, because when the ball comes off the bat, you won't really know, with the first, half second where that ball is going in relation to the fielder. So having the fielder in their decision, they'll take a couple steps. They'll assist you. So it says in online play, this will automatically set to assist. So you might as well have it. But if you want to grind offline and you want to have as few decisions as possible, go to auto and the computer will do it. So if you ever give them a hit, you can just let the computer do it. So it's a lot easier to grind it that way. But online play, I just use assist since it's standard and that's kind of just get used to it. Throwing decision, use off. Don't let the computer throw for you. Definitely throw it yourself. In play, view, defense, dynamic. I like dynamic. I feel like it brings a good camera, but you can go a little higher or not if you want. So dynamics for me. Throw canceling, you definitely want that on, so that way you can cancel from throwing to one base and throw it to another base. You get a lot of this stuff with runners, they'll go back and forth. So if you can't cancel your throws, you'll automatically throw it. And if they've already taken off going the other direction, you can't hit L1 to cancel it. So throw canceling definitely needs to be on. One button dive jump. I see the arguments both ways. I threw it on. Just make it simpler. Just do it, you should do. I can hit you either R1 or R2, and they'll do whatever you want. Auto infield jump and dive reaction, absolutely want that to be on. Catch position indicator on, so that way you can, show the actual landing spot and kind of get under the pitch, or under the ball, not pitch, under the ball in the field when it's a pop fly. Defensive shift, it's set to auto. I don't know. Defensive shift in this game is weird because, while players IRL will pull the ball a lot based off their attributes, this game is a lot based off, random players online don't play how the players play IRL. Even though there's a slight boost that way, I've given up a lot of, and I've gotten a lot of doubles, triples, hitting the ball opposite way with, Gallo and stuff, where he won't really do that IRL. So, I went to manual, but auto might be better. Auto just might be better, but I don't know. Off the wall ribbon, you definitely want that on, so leave that. General strike zone on, I like it, so that way you can see it. But a lot of people like as little visual feedback as possible, make it more realistic. But I like it on. Pitching preview hot zones, cool. It just kind of show you, hey, he's weak here, but it doesn't really mean a whole lot or anything at all. Warm up relievers on mine, you'll have to warm them up. Dynamic difficulty updates. Progress share. Tutorial tips. I turn all my tutorial tips off. And if you stay on this channel, you'll need them all off too because I'll tell you everything. Post-game autosave. Sure, throw it on. Advanced scoreboard pitches. This is all something. I like it all on. Box. Fuck it. Make the umpire perfect. Umpire close plays. And then wait, maybe the umpire shouldn't be perfect. Yeah, you can make the umpires perfect. Check swing appeals. Off. Injuries. Depends on what kind of league you're playing in. Throw it off if you're... If you hate injuries. I hate injuries. Manfred, turn it off. IRL. Don't let anybody get injured ever. Ejections. Sure, keep it on. That's fun. Vibration, on. Who doesn't like a good vibrator? And then game log order, default. So, the most recent innings first. It's not a big deal. So that's the settings you really kind of want to go to. There's presentation, audio, visual options that you could kind of go into. But this is more that preference. What do you want to see? What kind of shit do you want to hear? That really, everything I say here doesn't really have a huge effect on game or any effect on game, but it will have effect on on just like audio-visual shit. So this one's another one where like what kind of mode-specific shit do you want? It's more personal preference versus like better. A lot of this is personal preference, but some of it's like you actually need some of this stuff to play the game better. So that's it. I'm just going to save changes. I like to use as default, and then back out, apply changes, and there. Settings done. Thanks for watching Call to Action. I'll see you tomorrow.